Thanks so much for joining us on Morning Live Sports. Now, Mamelodi Sundowns will be fighting for survival in the CAF Champions League as they host MC Alger in a match that they need to win to get their campaign back on track, with MC Alger needing just a draw to go through. Meanwhile, Kaizer Chiefs will be away to Egyptian giant Zamalek. That's in the CAF Confederation Cup, that Group D encounter. Amakhosi just need a draw to go through to the quarterfinals. So for more on this and these crucial fixtures, we are virtually joined by FarPost's Editor Mthokozisi Dube. Mthokozisi, I'm going to start off with the saga around Mario Masha and the alleged leaking of information. I was just looking at some updates on the story, and I think it's actually multifaceted because obviously it's a huge game for Sundowns. It's a do-or-die clash. We spoke about it earlier last week as well. But I find it interesting that some of the reports are saying that players refuse to play with Miguel Cardoso. So whether they win, there's problems, and whether they lose, there's problems. And then there's also the question around integrity and security as well. What do you make of all of this?
Yeah, it's a bit chaotic for Mamelodi Sundowns. I think they've never found themselves in this position in the last couple of years, where there's a bit of unrest within the club. They desperately need two important results. I mean, in this CAF Champions League final group match, and also on Wednesday, there's a big game coming against Orlando Pirates. So it's a very uncomfortable position to be in, they've got to get a result today, get a win, and get through into the last 8 of the CAF Champions League, just to silence their critics and move.
I mean, have you been able to get any feedback? I know that Masha was suspended while they investigate, and is this because it doesn't really matter what the outcome of that investigation is, that they're trying to buy time for Cardoso and make sure that they can seal any leaks? Is that what the situation really is?
Look, I think what I've gathered is that there is an investigation going on just to obviously look into the evidence that they have and see if there is any authenticity in the claims that he shared information with Coach Vulani Mokoena. So after the investigation, I'm sure they will then take a decision in terms of what happens to him. So at this point, I think it's still an investigation.
Okay, so let's have a look at what the group is looking like. And as I just mentioned to you, I'm going to quickly go back. Hopefully my screen is not blanking out on me. It seems to be doing that. We were just looking at the various fixtures, but let's move to Kaizer Chiefs while I wait for this to come back on. And let's look at what's going to happen in their Confed group. Unfortunately, it seems that we're having a bit of a technical glitch there, but I'm going to take it back to you. Kaizer Chiefs, if we look at their group, they just need a draw. Their former captain, Itumeleng Khune, is saying that they need to go for the kill. And then I'm going to ask you a two-part question. What do you think? Let's probably, before you go to the Kaizer Chiefs answer, tell me what you think Vulani Mokoena is going to do, and then give me your Kaizer Chiefs response.
Vulani Mokoena understands the Sundowns team. He knows them like the back of his hand. He knows the players. He knows how they function. He obviously knows the challenges that an African team coming to Pretoria during this time of the year faces. And I'm sure he would be equipped to manage the game very well because all he needs is a draw. But I don't think he will come there and pack a bus to try and get a draw, because he knows that that's what Sundowns will be looking for. But you would know that Sundowns are very vulnerable when they, play a high line. So he would obviously want to exploit that and, get a win or a draw and get through into the last 8 of the CAF Champions League.
All right, so let's quickly move ahead to the Betway Premiership. We're coming home. Pirates take on struggling Marumo Gallants. They're sitting at the bottom of that log. I wanted to show you the log, but as I said, we're having some technical glitches there. It's probably, the highlight key fixture that we're looking forward to. They're currently sitting on top, the Buccaneers. And as I mentioned, Gallants are languishing on the bottom. They're in 13th position. How do you see this game unfolding? And also, they're looking for that historic successive win as well.
Yeah, look, a very interesting time for Orlando Pirates, because I think they're in a very good position currently. They're not active in the CAF Champions League like Sundowns are. So Sundowns have to play today, and then they have to face Pirates on Wednesday. if Pirates, I'm sure Pirates know that if they win their game against Marumo Gallants, they've got a 6-point gap, and if they do win against Sundowns, that's 9 points. It puts them in a very good position. So they're in good form. They've been doing very well. They've been, scoring goals. Rele Mofokeng has been he's been incredible in the last couple of games as that 10, and they are playing at home. They lost to this Marumo Gallants team at the start of the season, and they won't want to sleep again against Marumo Gallants. So I'm sure they're also playing a Marumo Gallants that's struggling a bit. They've been very inconsistent in terms of results. Wadu has previously coached Marumo Gallants. He knows them very well. I do think they should be able to. Orlando Pirates should be able to get maximum points if I were to predict.
It's something to be studied. It's really interesting how Uwadu was able to take over from Ribera and then just make sure that the team could seamlessly transition. There was a time where it was a little bit questionable, but they found their footing, and look how well they're doing. My producer Tom created really nice graphics that I wanted us to go through with regards to top goal scorers. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to do that. But Mthokozisi, it's always great chatting to you. Thank you for taking the time out to give us some insights into those stories here on Morning Live. And we were just chatting now about the saga at Mamelodi Sundowns ahead of their CAF Champions League fixture, the alleged leaking of information, also looking at Kaizer Chiefs and what they're going to be doing in their CAF Confederation Cup fixture as well. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. That's where we're going to leave it for Morning Live Sport and for this morning. We'll see you bright and early again tomorrow. Stay tuned to the show though. Liesl still has plenty more coming up for you.